to my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world.
This is the Wrestling Matters podcast where we stand up for professional wrestling.
Here we fucking go!
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another installment of the Wrestling Matters podcast, episode 166. Hope you guys are well and whatever it is you are doing, and what a week in the world of professional wrestling. This week on the podcast, we will have Raw, SmackDown, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, and ICW. Plus, a few things here and there as well. And I'll play the audio of Extreme Rules. That's right, my Extreme Rules predictions audio that I did this week for the channel. I'll play it on this podcast later on in the broadcast. But, hope you guys are well. A very weird week, a little bit, in terms of Raw, in terms of one of the worst segments I've ever seen in my life as well. And I'll double check that just to make sure that I wasn't hallucinating. But I'll talk about that more in the podcast. Episode 166, ladies and gentlemen, of this podcast is on the Swerve Talk Network, Sunday Segway, Max Wrestling, Offshoot Radio, S&M Show, Wrestling Unleashed. You know the score by now. Every week I say this. Go and check it out. You will not be disappointed. Also, it's on the YouTube channel, Wrestling Matters YouTube channel as well. Look that up on there, Wrestling Matters channel, or Wrestling Matters. Check that out on there as well. Also, look us up on SoundCloud. Download these episodes for free. Wrestling_Matters_podcast. Also, look up Radio Bigwell. Facebook.com/WM Podcast. At WM Podcast on Twitter. Now, also, shout out to TSC Wrestling Mag. That's right, Squared Circle. Shout out to you guys. TSC Wrestling Mag on Twitter. At TSC Wrestling Mag on Twitter for more information on them as well. We will be doing more business, as I told you last week. So it's a start at the moment. We're doing some cross promotions. They're promoting me, I'm promoting them, and hopefully it'll all lead to something big that'll benefit both of us down the road. Also, Wrestle Island. Hope you guys enjoyed Joe Gertner coming down as well to Mystery Island or Wrestle Island, whatever it was. Facebook.com/Wrestle Island. Facebook.com/Back to the Island for more information on them as well. Shout out to Talk Brunch. Check them out each and every Monday right after Raw and whenever they can. Go up as well. When there's wrestling, there's usually Talk Brunch as well. When there's NXT pay-per-views. Also check out their audio for the pay-per-view event, which was Extreme Rules. I'm pretty sure they went up after that as well. Check them out at Talk Brunch on Twitter and also Facebook.com/Talk Brunch. Shout out to Rick Dara as well. Follow him on Twitter as well at Rick Dara. And I'm sure their website's on there as well. Make sure you check out their website. Also, shout out to Raging Falcon as well. Raging Falcon will be on here next week talking RFPW, promotion and Extreme Rules as well as Raw and SmackDown as well. So yeah, check that out as well. And if I can, I'll fit in ICW as well, but I doubt I will, but we'll see what happens. But next week, check him out. He will be on here as well. Right, I've got the promotions out the way. Let's talk some wrestling news this week, because a lot of stuff has come up this week in the world of professional wrestling. Let's give the full card for TNA Slammiversary. Full card spoilers, it says here on this website that I'm on. I want to tell you the website anyway, it's nodq.com. There was a lot of stuff that popped up from NoDQ this week, which was very interesting as well. So let's check out what's coming up at Slammiversary. Excuse me. We have the main event is going to take place. The unification match is going to take place, ladies and gentlemen. We have GFW Global Champion Alberto El Patron meeting Bobby Lashley for the world title, the Impact Wrestling World Championship. So the unification match is going to take place. So that means strap match. It's going to be EC3 and James Storm. Full Metal Mayhem. Oh my God, hope this is the end, to be honest with you. It's going to be Davey Richards, Angelina Love versus Eddie Edwards and Alicia. 2 out of 3 falls match sees Impact Wrestling X Division Champion now, spoiler alert guys, Sanjay Dutt defend against Low Key. Women's title is going to be unified as well. It's going to be Rosemary and Sienna. The winner becomes Women's Champion, the Undisputed Women's Champion. D'Angelo Williams and Moose take on Eli Drake and Chris Adonis as well. And yes, the tag team match we're all looking forward to. Scott Stano and Josh Matthews against Joseph Park and JB. Oh joy. Right. Apparently, ladies and gentlemen, a certain Ring of Honor superstar is wanted because his contract expires. Is coming up soon. And I believe that WWE are very interested in him. I'm talking about none other than Dalton Castle. That's right. Dalton Castle is on WWE's radar. Which, to be honest with you, is not necessarily a bad thing because he's good. He's very good. Right. Also, I want to throw this in as well. According to Dave Meltzer, the winner of Extreme Rules main event will be facing Brock Lesnar's one and done match. Lesnar is still expected to face Braun Strowman at the SummerSlam pay-per-view in August, because Strowman is expected to be back from injury in mid-July, which will give WWE plenty of time to build up the match. So there you have it. Will we see a new Universal Champion in August? That's the plan from what I've got. We may very well see Braun Strowman overcome the Beast. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm pretty much looking forward to that match if it takes place. There's no question about that. Right. Raw breaks record for the lowest viewership again. To be honest with you, it's not surprising that. We got here more on the This Is Your Life segment later on. Enzo and Cass are breaking up, ladies and gentlemen, from what it seems. It seems the possibilities are endless. All this angle that's going to be on Raw and SmackDown, I'll talk about this a little bit more in depth later on. Or as in depth as I can later on. But it seems everybody's blaming the revival for the attacks on Enzo Amore. But it seems it's all the seeds that have been planted for Big Cass to turn heel. So, yeah. Big Cass turns heel. And then after that, a couple of months after that, when the shake-up happens again, if the shake-up happens again, please send him to SmackDown so he can kick James Ellsworth's teeth in. Anyway, also something big. Tag team title match set for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which sees the New Day after their confrontation this past week on SmackDown. Yes, the New Day's returned. I will talk about that a little bit more later on, but it seems that it's going to be the New Day going up against the Usos. Also, I just want to bring this to light. Billy Corgan. I reported this as well. Many others reported it as well. A few people didn't like it. Quite frankly, I couldn't care less. Billy Corgan, it was set to purchase the NWA. But apparently, according to NoDQ.com, that seems to be falling apart. Jason Powell over ProWrestling.net reports that Billy Corgan's attempt to purchase the NWA brand is being described as inches away from falling apart. According to a source with knowledge of the situation, apparently there is an issue with the NWA merchandising trademark, which expired on December 2nd, 2016. Corgan has declined to comment on the matter at this time. Also, I'll throw this one in as well. John Cena promoted his return to WWE TV for SmackDown on July the 4th. Independence Day, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. As well, I'll just check see if there's any more I need to be talking about, or any more that is worth talking about as well. Waltman might be doing some jail time. Don't really care about that, if I'm being honest with you. Yep. I've already gave you the TNA Impact Wrestling spoiler, which is Sanjay Dutt is now the new X Division champion, which you could probably see a mile away, quite frankly. Who else? Just see if there's any more, guys, and if not, I'll leave it there. Any more worth talking about? Oh yes, I'll throw this in as well. Cody Rhodes got offended by a fan this past week on Twitter because there was a fan who had the audacity to say that Goldust was a jobber, but Cody Rhodes did not take too kindly to that. And if it's on here, yeah, Cody Rhodes did not take too kindly to that, obviously, because Goldust is Cody's brother as well, and obviously Cody didn't take too kindly to the derogatory stupidity remarks brought forward by this person. And I've read the tweet that Cody wrote back, which I thought was hilarious and pretty much spot on, quite frankly, as well, because I'll read it out now if I can get it. I'll throw the Rusev bit in as well. Rusev was originally scheduled to compete for the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank, but plans changed once Mahal got out of it. As a result of the change, the creative team is now trying to figure out what to do with Russo to get him back on television. Also, the Cody Rhodes bit. Cody Rhodes took offense to a call that referred to Goldust as a jobber on Twitter and responded with the following. 3-time Intercontinental Champion, 3-time World Tag Team Champion, replace jobber with future Hall of Fame and kiss my ass while you at. Oh boy, God bless you, Cody Rhodes. But it is true, can't call Goldust a jobber at the end of the day. Yes, he's been a comedy act for the past couple of months or weeks or whenever, because he's been hanging around R-Truth with the golden goof and everything. I never liked that tag team. But now he's broke away and he's brought the old Goldust back. The Goldust that was Intercontinental Champion. And I don't know if he was a former tag team champion, but he was Intercontinental Champion as well. Yes, he's a 3-time Intercontinental Champion. Yes, he's a 3-time World Tag Team Champion as well. And he is definitely a future Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about that. So Jobber, quite frankly, not only can you kiss Cody Rhodes' ass, you can kiss my ass too. Because quite frankly, that is stupid. And those are the kind of fans I don't like, ladies and gentlemen. 3-time Intercontinental Champion, 3-time World Tag Team Champion, future Hall of Famer, and he gets called a jobber. Anyway, guys, that about wraps this part up. I'm going to wrap it up there. I'll be back in part 2. As a matter of fact, I'll be back in part 3 with Raw, SmackDown, then TNA, Ring of Honor, then ICW, and I'll throw in the top 10 as well. But coming up after the break, I'll play the audio of Extreme Rules, the Extreme Rules predictions. So you'll hear my predictions for Extreme Rules coming up right after this. Stay tuned. If you enjoy the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out the Wrestling Matters podcast right now on YouTube at AJW Wrestling Matters. You can also check it out on SoundCloud at Wrestling_Matters_podcast. That's /Wrestling_Matters_podcast. Also, check it out on Radio Big World as well. For more information on them, you can check them out on SoundCloud and the Swerve Talk Network as well. For more each and every week of the Wrestling Matters podcast, weekly podcast that talk about the best in professional wrestling today, whether it's WWE, Ring of Honor, TNA, ICW, Progress Wrestling, and the list goes on and on. Only the best in professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a very special podcast. That's right. Recorded for the Wrestling Matters podcast. I might as well put it up. Extreme Rules is this Sunday. This is an Extreme Rules prediction podcast brought to you by the Wrestling Matters podcast. Yada, yada, yada. You know what it's called by now. And yeah, I'm going to do Extreme Rules predictions. That's right. Extreme Rules predictions. They are, as I've got this right now, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches on the card. I'm doing this now. There might be more. I don't know. Probably not, but we'll see. But yeah, at the moment right now, there's 5 matches, as we know. There could be more. So, we'll kick off with what seems to be happening. Rich Swann, Sasha Banks, versus Noam Dar and Alicia Fox in a mixed tag match. I'm guessing this is going to be on the pre-show. I'm guessing this is probably going to be on the pre-show. It shouldn't be. Well, I say it should be, but there's another match which I'll get to that probably deserves to be on the pre-show also, but I'll get to that later on. Rich Swann, Sasha Banks versus Alicia Fox and Noam Dar, who's returning to ICW. More on that in the podcast this coming week, 166. Check it out. So yeah, I see Rich Swann and Sasha Banks winning this, getting their payback, if you will, for what's been happening lately on that, and giving them their own comeuppance, to be honest with you. But I really don't care about this match, mixed tag match, whatever. Next match I'm going to talk about is a match that I'm very pissed off with, to be honest with you, and this is the match that should be on the pre-show. Intercontinental Championship. Dean Ambrose defends against The Miz. Now, if Ambrose loses or is disqualified, he will lose the Intercontinental Championship. This is Extreme Rules, right? No way should this match be on the card. Yes, it's an Intercontinental Championship. You want to defend the Intercontinental title on pay-per-view. I get that. But this match should not be on the show if it's going to be in this stipulation. The stipulation has no business being in this match. They could have put this, like I said, on Wrestling Unleashed in this past week as well. This makes no fucking sense. This is basically best off being either a pre-show match or a match for Raw, to be honest with you. This is Extreme fucking Rules. Extreme Rules, okay? If you're going to put this match in, put an Extreme Rules match on it, or put it in a cage. Hell, you put Ambrose in a cage against Chris Jericho last year. Do the same with The Miz. Do the same with The Miz match. Putting them in a cage. Intercontinental Championship match. No problem. Hell, make it an Ambrose Asylum, for crying out loud. But no, they have to put this match in because of what's been happening late. Fucking ridiculous, man. This is lazy booking by WWE, okay? Very lazy, very poor thought booking. They could have came up with anything else, but no, they had to come up with this. And my prediction, to be honest with you, I said The Miz on Wrestling Unleashed. I'm kind of hoping Ambrose wins, but I probably see The Miz winning this, to be honest with you, more. So I'm going to see The Miz win it. I pray Ambrose wins. But if The Miz does win, I hope and pray that the rumours and what's been said are not true. Because I have heard rumours that Dean Ambrose is meant to drop the Intercontinental Championship to The Miz. And then The Miz is meant to drop the Intercontinental Championship to Roman Reigns. That's right. Roman Reigns could very well be the Intercontinental Champion, excuse me. But like Rick Darius said on Wrestling Unleashed, he doesn't need the Intercontinental Championship. He's a main event star, whether we like it or not. We can bash Roman Reigns, we can like Roman Reigns, we can do whatever the fuck we want with Roman Reigns, we can say whatever the fuck we want with Roman Reigns. At the end of the day, he's a main eventer, and that's something we gotta get used to at the end of the day, whether we like it or not. And now he's coming out thinking he's the Undertaker from 2000. Oh, this is my yard and everything. Dude, you beat the Undertaker at Mania. He passed the torch to you, okay? You're not the Undertaker, you're Roman Reigns. Get that through the skull, fam. Ridiculous. And I didn't like that match at WrestleMania, but anyway, that's another issue for another day. But I'm picking The Miz. I'm hoping Ambrose wins. Raw Tag Team Championships in a steel cage, which sees the Hardy Boys versus Cesaro and Sheamus. I'm seeing the Hardy Boys win this. I'm sorry. I'm seeing the Hardy Boys win this because I've got a funny feeling Jeff Hardy and Matt, probably Jeff, is going to do something fucking nuts in this match. On them two. I can see it happening. Do I see Cesaro and Sheamus being tag team champions down the road? Yes. But not tonight. Not on this night anyway. I don't know. They might not be the champions. My feud will definitely end. It seems it's going to end at Extreme Rules because it's a steel cage match and that's where you usually end the feud. If not Hell in the Cell, maybe a steel cage. But yeah, I'm picking the Hardys to win this because I've got a funny feeling that Jeff Hardy or Matt, or mainly Jeff. Jeff is usually the craziest one out of the two. Jeff's going to do something fucking nuts in this match. And he has done it before. I mean, he did a Whisper in the Wind once off the top of the cage, you know, and he jumped off and did a swanton off the top of the cage through a table at Survivor Series in 01. So, you know, who knows? And he's done a lot of crazy things since then, so it wouldn't surprise me if he does. So predict something in that one, but I'm going for the Hardy Boys to retain the Raw Tag Team Championships. Now, for the women's match. I'll get the women's match out the way. Another Rusev booking match. Although I'd probably take this match over the Ambrose one, because the Ambrose one is more bullshit than this one, to be honest with you. Kendo stick on a pole. That's why they get the kendo stick and use it to their advantage. Oh, for fuck's sake. Again, lazy booking. I'm sorry. You'd be best off just making this a kendo stick match, to be honest with you, and giving them kendo sticks to use, if that's the way it's going to be. Kendo stick on the pole. Judy Bagwell on the pole. Pinata on a pole. Next you'd be putting bullshit on the pole. Actually, it's already there. But the whole thing just doesn't make sense. It's making the women's match look stupid, if you ask me. All in all, it's Alexa Bliss defending against Bayley. Do I see Bayley getting her belt back? No. I'm going with Alexa Bliss on this, but don't be surprised if Bayley ends up winning, but I don't see her winning this match. I'll probably see her winning either at SummerSlam or Great Balls of Fire. I'll probably see that happen. Will it happen? We don't know. We shall see. And Cruiserweight match. This feud has been going on since before WrestleMania, and yet Austin Aries has lost 2 matches in a row. That's what I was meant to say. He lost the Mania match and he lost the Payback match as well. If Aries doesn't win this match, and it's a submission match, so it's right up Aries' alley, because I think Aries has the advantage in terms of submission over Neville. Aries doesn't win this match, this whole feud is dead, to be honest with you. Austin Aries needs to win this match. He has to win this match. Surely he has to win this match. If he doesn't, this whole feud's been a waste of time, in my opinion. This is the only feud that's keeping 205 wakeable for me at the moment, because as we all know if you watch Raw, and as we all know if you watch the 205 show, or mainly Raw, nobody gives a rat's ass about the Cruiserweight division. And it's proven that as well when Aries had to go with the New Jersey crowd and everything. Nobody cares. And that's not the Cruiserweight's fault. I'm definitely not saying that's not the Cruiserweight. That's the Cruiserweight's fault, because it's not. It's the fucking WWE fault, the booking and the way they booked the shows and everything, and the way they booked the 205, because basically the 205's after SmackDown, isn't it? People going home by then. So at the end of the day, I believe Aries needs to win this match. If he doesn't, if he doesn't, the whole thing has been a waste of time. I'll just put it out there like that, okay? Because surely they're not going to have another match. Nobody's going to want to see another match at Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view in July. So yeah, I mean, the whole thing will be a waste of time if Aries doesn't win. Aries is my prediction. Aries, hopefully, please, if there's a God, will be WWE Cruiserweight Champ. Now for the main event. Everybody seems to be picking Finn Balor for this. It's Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. Everybody seems to be picking Finn for this. And to be honest with you, the way it's been booked on Raw, you know, with the Heyman coming out and confronting him and whatnot, I can see it happening. So we may get Finn Balor, Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire, probably. But what you've got to understand is, guys, I'm picking Finn Balor. Finn Balor's my pick. But like I said on Wrestling Unleashed, from everything that's gone on up until now, Bray Wyatt had his House of Horrors match with Randy Orton, and then he went into a feud with Finn, right? So at the moment right now, as we're picturing this, Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt are in a feud. Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins are clearly not done with each other yet, and that's been cleared over the past couple of weeks on Raw. Everywhere Samoa Joe is, Seth Rollins is. Everywhere Seth Rollins is, Samoa Joe is. These two can't get enough of each other. The odd one out in this thing, the wild card, if you will, is Roman Reigns, because his dad is away for 6 months getting surgery, or recovering for 6 months from surgery, and that's Braun Strowman. This was meant to be Braun Strowman one-on-one with Roman Reigns to see who gets a shot at Brock Lesnar in July. And it was meant to be Braun Strowman, but obviously that's not the case anymore. So, Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins in a feud, Balor, Wyatt in a feud. Where does that lead? Work the angle out here. So, I'm hoping it's going to be a great match. There's no question about that. It's going to be a kick-ass match. I'm hoping Finn wins. I'm predicting Finn Balor to win. But, guys, don't be surprised if Roman Reigns wins, because there's talks about Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34. Why wait till then, though? They may get to Great Balls of Fire, have the match with Brock Lesnar and Finn Balor, some shenanigans go down, and there'll probably be a match with Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor at SummerSlam, and then it'll probably lead to the match that we're dreading, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship, and no doubt Roman Reigns will probably end up winning. That is if he's not Intercontinental Champion by then. Maybe title for title at SummerSlam. I just thought about that now. Actually, that popped in. Universal Championship versus Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. That would be cool. That would definitely bring some more meaning to this, because Universal Championship match, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, is just the same old shit like WrestleMania. But if they're going to do this match, then do it and get it over with. You'd be best off doing it for SummerSlam. Don't do it next year's WrestleMania. Don't do it in next year's WrestleMania. There's a lot of better things and better matches you could make for next year's WrestleMania. Better main events for next year's WrestleMania. I don't think people are going to be wanting to see or want to see Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns a Universal title match. Because they see that at the previous WrestleMania, and although it was good, it was alright for what it was, I think the crowd didn't get it that much, and then the Seth Rollins thing came down and cashed it in and won the world title. I don't think people are going to want to see this again. But then again, I might be wrong. I'm probably not, though. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34, to be honest. But with that being said, guys, that is the end of this quick podcast, Extreme Rules Predictions podcast. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I will be back this coming week for another episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast. RFPW is coming to the podcast as well. Jeffrey, who runs the RFPW, which was if I'm not mistaken, a Twitch promotion for Twitch and everything, so you can stream it on Twitch. Now it's a reality, and it's coming in September as well, and it's based in the UK as well. But he'll be on the podcast. We're going to record the podcast June 7th, and the podcast will be out June 12th. That episode will be out June 12th, and that will be episode 167 of the podcast as well. And he's going to talk a lot of stuff with me as well. He's going to talk Raw and SmackDown, RFPW, maybe throw in some top 10s as well, and that as well. But I'm going to give him the platform to get over RFPW as well, so look out for that. That will be coming June 12th, but stay tuned for episode 166 of the podcast this coming week, because ICW, I'm going to give you a little heads up on it. ICW has just got too sweet. Not that it was too sweet to begin with, because a certain NWO member, an NWO legend and wrestling legend, and a founding member of the NWO, is coming to ICW November 19th. You want to know who that is? You may have already seen it, but if you don't, you want to know who it is, tune into the podcast this coming week, 166. And also, Noam Dar returns to ICW in July for Shug's House Party. That's right, the Pinky Party. Noam Dar and Shah Samuels will be in action at Shug's House Party. You want to know why? Or you want to know how? Tune into the podcast this coming week. So until then, guys, my name is Anthony Walker. You have been a beautiful audience. Thank you so much. Enjoy Extreme Rules. I'll be back the week after with a review. Hopefully, all being well. That is if I'm not doing anything. But hope you guys enjoyed this. Till next time, my name is Anthony Walker. Wrestling Matters. Enjoy the rest of the week. Peace.
Wrestling fans, look no further for the most unpredictable wrestling podcast you've ever heard on the Max Wrestling Podcast, hosted by me, Dazzy Dangerously, with everybody's favourite captains, The Phoenix, The Butcher and Mike Larkin, plus special guests, promos and trivia.
Find out what's been going on in wrestling history as I take you down memory lane every week.
And The Butcher's Stupid Idiot of the Week. Get it!
And see if you agree with me as I choose every week's Figment of the Week in the world of wrestling.
The Max Wrestling Podcast is available on
YouTube, Podomatic,
Mixcloud, and Soundcloud.
And the Swerve Talk Network with other great shows.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at Max Wrestling UK, or go to our website maxwrestling.wix.com/maxwrestling.
And that's the bottom line.
because we're out of time.
Yalakalikimaka.
Listen in, man.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast. Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Welcome back to part 3 of the Wrestling Matters podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Hope you guys enjoyed the Extreme Rules predictions there that I recorded this past week. Now, let's get into Raw and SmackDown highs and lows. Quite frankly, everything on Raw this week was low, to be honest with you. And if you don't believe me, go and check out the viewership, the ratings, if you will, because they were low. They're about as low as a backstabber, if I can use that term. But anyway, it kicked off with a 6-man tag, which saw Intercontinental Champion teaming with the Tag Team Champions and Dean Ambrose teaming with the Hardys against Miz, Cesaro, and Sheamus after a promo, which I believe was Miz TV as well, if I remember correctly. Pretty predictable, because you've got Dean Ambrose coming out, and you've got Miz, who he's facing at Extreme Rules, and then you've got Cesaro and Sheamus in there as well. Gee, I wonder who's going to be his partners. Hardy Boys. Elias Sampson beats Zach Evans. Surprisingly, Samoa Joe wins the triple threat match with him, Finn Balor, and Bray Wyatt. I never saw that coming, to be honest with you. But fair enough. And apparently, there was word going around before the Extreme Rules pay-per-view that Samoa Joe was tipped to win it. Only you know if that's true or not, guys, because this is going out on Monday after Extreme Rules, so only you guys know what's up, if you will. Rich Swann defeats Noam Dar. Titus O'Neil actually wins a match against Kalisto. I couldn't care less about both them matches, to be honest with you. I care about Noam Dar coming back to ICW more than I care about that match anyway. And Sasha Banks on 205, really. Anyway, Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss presented Bayley's This Is Your Life in one of the worst segments I have ever seen on Monday Night Raw. Probably the worst segment in history of Raw since the Bella Twins' Jerry Springer skit they did. God, it was awful. Enzo Amore was attacked again. There's a lot of rumours flying around that was the revival, but there's a lot of spoilers popping out, ladies and gentlemen, that is Big Cass that's doing that, because they're planning a Big Cass heel turn from what it seems. I don't know. You believe it when you see it. You believe it when it happens. Austin Aries and gentlemen Jack Gallagher defeat the champion Neville and TJP, and Roman Reigns defeats Seth Rollins in the main event, and which was a good main event, but it wasn't enough to save Raw because Raw was lackluster. But I will say this though, guys, there's a storyline brewing, because towards the end of Raw, or as Raw was about to go off air, Corey Graves got a text message on his phone which had some derogatory remarks towards the general manager. There's a lot of rumours flying around of who it could be. It could be Triple H, it could be Stephanie McMahon, but that would be predictable, to be honest with you. There's a few other people as well. Even Mick Foley's name's been thrown in the hat. Hell, even Corey Graves himself, because WWE think Corey Graves is a good actor. Whatever the fuck that means, I don't know. And they're probably looking to have him do more than just commentate in WWE, like do other outside stuff besides commentating. But, we'll have to wait and see on that one. All in all, guys, a pretty lackluster Raw with probably one of the worst segments I've ever seen in my life. And that is This Is Your Life, which was just god awful. I knew it'd be awful. I turned it off halfway through, if I'm being honest with you, because it was just really was poor. Really, really was poor. Anyway, let's go to the A show, in my opinion, SmackDown. And it was actually good, to be honest with you. Really, really good, if I'm being honest. Not in terms of being the best thing I've seen all week. Let's just say it was better than Raw. It was definitely better than Raw. It kicked off with Nakamura was a guest on Kevin Owens' highlight reel. Kevin Owens' highlight reel, probably just sticking the knife into Chris Jericho and everything. Shinsuke Nakamura, and all of that spewed off between Nakamura and Sami Zayn, and it ended up being a tag match between Nakamura, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin, which Nakamura and Zayn won. NXT Dream Team right there, ladies and gentlemen. It was a great match to kick off the show in terms of match-wise, match content, if you will. The Usos came out and gloated about their tag team championships and how they are still the tag team champions. And yes, the New Day are back, and we all know what's that leading to. Yep, the New Day confronted the Usos and made a major announcement. The major announcement is, at Money in the Bank, the New Day will challenge the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. A little spoiler alert, the New Day wins. You can see it coming a mile away, kinda. You can see it coming a mile away. And also, there's been rumours and tips that New Day are next in line to become SmackDown Tag Team Champions as well. A 5-way elimination match to determine the number one contender for the SmackDown Women's title never begun in the first place, which led to Shane McMahon coming out and making the biggest announcement in SmackDown history, especially in the terms of the women, because for the first time ever at Money in the Bank, just like there's been a lot of firsts, don't get me wrong, Hell in a Cell and that, there will be a women's Money in the Bank match. That's right. The winner, pretty sure, gets a title shot with that briefcase. I don't know if there's going to be a women's title briefcase or contract. We may know. We won't know until the actual pay-per-view itself. But yeah, should be interesting though. Breezango defeat the Colognes, whatever. Randy Orton spoke for the first time since Backlash and everything, and spoke about his potential rematch with Jinder Mahal at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Sorry, I'm still thinking he's with Bray Wyatt for some reason. And in what was probably a great main event, an awesome main event in fact, saw Dolph Ziggler one-on-one with AJ Styles. Yes, it sees AJ Styles losing again. Now I said this on YouTube. I don't have a problem with Dolph Ziggler winning. I don't have a problem with Dolph Ziggler full stop, quite frankly. He's getting the push and he's getting big match wins. There was talks about that being botched, to be honest with you, that ending. But yeah, I'm sick. I don't want to see AJ Styles win. I don't want to see AJ Styles lose, rather. I want to see him win, okay? Don't turn him into a freaking jobber. But, you know, he might have to, you know, you probably want to put Dolph Ziggler over at some point or anything like that. But yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem with Dolph winning. I have a problem with Styles losing, okay? I have a big problem with Styles losing because Styles is the best wrestler in the company. Let's face it. And the fact that it was his hometown, even worse, quite frankly. That's like what I call it, losing in her hometown once when she was Divas champion, Paige. Then they lose to Alicia Fox in her hometown, which was fucking really, or home state, wherever it was just really, you know, whatever. I mean, that was great for the Atlanta, Georgia faithful to come home and see their hometown boy lose. Give me a break. But like I said, there's talks about it being botched. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown was definitely the better show this week. No question about that. More on that next week. I'll be back right after this with Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling. So stay tuned.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Welcome back to part 3 of the Wrestling Matters podcast, guys. Now we're just going to get right into it. Not going to waste any time. Let's get right into Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling. Yay! Ring of Honor this week kicked off with the Bullet Club coming out and introducing their new member, which is Marty Scurll. If you watch War of the Worlds, you would know that. Adam Cole interrupts and then Hangman Page challenges him to a match, which Cole accepts, and that's next week's main event as well. So that would probably be Adam Cole's farewell match in Ring of Honor officially. He's officially gone from Ring of Honor, but as we all know, Ring of Honor is taped. Josh Woods versus David Starr. Vicious DDT on the apron from David Starr as well, which was not in the Randy Orton way when he does it in the ring. He did it on the apron. It was the Randy Orton DDT, but he did it on the apron, which was vicious. But Woods manages to get his revenge on David Starr. It was a great match, don't get me wrong, and very good match, somewhat to kick it off. Silas Young cuts a promo on Jay Lethal after attacking him last week, and then Bruiser did well in a match against Jay Lethal as well, because Jay Lethal came out and wanted to fight Young, but Young said, Bruiser, you get in there instead. And then towards the end of the match, or the ending sequence, was Jay Lethal dives on the Bruiser outside, and then as he's got up, turned round, twats Silas Young in the face, and then a brawl erupts, and then Bobby Fish comes out to save Jay Lethal from any more damage. Cody Rhodes manages to beat Kaz in the main event, which was a great match to end the show, but Kaz went to the well one too many times, and Cody counted right in to the crossroads and gets the victory. And Hangman Page came out as well, who still has a little bit of beef. As a matter of fact, the Bullet Club still have a little bit of beef with Kaz as well for what they did before, but the world champion comes out and saves Kaz from a further beatdown. What will happen next? I guess we'll find out next week. But next week on Ring of Honor is the main event, which sees Adam Cole one-on-one with Hangman Page, which is, I'm guessing, Cole's last match, or is Cole's last match in Ring of Honor, officially. EC3 comes out to celebrate becoming #1 contender. This is Impact Wrestling, guys, because he won the triple threat match last week. But Bruce Pritchard comes out and says, remember when you threw me on the floor? There would be consequences. And there was consequences, because Bruce Pritchard forced EC3 to face Alberto El Patron for the GFW title. And the winner of that match goes on to Slammiversary to face Bobby Lashley. Oh, and the main event was in a steel cage match. So, yeah. Moose versus Eli Drake for the Grand Championship. There was a lot of controversy when I saw this on the YouTube clip and everything. There was a lot of controversy. But I went back and watched the match myself, and I don't think there was. Yes, Josh Matthews was being the heel and being the douche that he is. Eli Drake won the first round. No problem whatsoever, hands down, that was Eli Drake. Moose manages to win round 2 by split decision. Fair enough. Masters got involved in the 3rd round, but again, Moose won it by split decision. So there wasn't really that much in the match. It was a great match for the time they had and everything, but there wasn't really that much controversy as it came over, if you will. But Moose is still your grand champion. Ali, in a match I couldn't care less about, but she beat Amber Nova as well. Fair play. And was really excited about it. LAX win the GFW tag team titles after basically battering, although VOW did put up a good fight against LAX, but I knew this was coming, and it was pretty much predictable in the process. And now LAX hold not only the GFW Tag Team Champions, but they are currently the Impact World Tag Team Champions as well. Great match for the X Division Championship with Sanjay Dutt at ringside. The one-eyed Sanjay Dutt at ringside sees Low-Ki defeat Andrew Everett, but spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, they face each other on Low-Ki and Sanjay Dutt next week in India, because next week, Impact is culminating from India, and we all know what happens. There will be a new X Division champion. Spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen. Great match between Patron and EC3 in the cage. So's the inevitable, and the right match is on, ladies and gentlemen. It is Bobby Lashley, the Impact World Champion, defending against... Well, it's basically Bobby Lashley, Impact World Champion, Alberto El Patron, GFW World Champion, in a unification match at Slammiversary. It is a done deal. As well, great match though to end the show. And also, you'll remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, where Swoggle came out and battered Spud with the hammer. Well, Spud got his revenge. What I don't get about it is everybody was cheering. I don't know if everybody was cheering Spud on Spud's side, but Spud got his revenge and then he got heat for it. You know, people didn't like him for it and everything. Even they were calling him a stupid idiot and all that. The whole angle with Spud and Swoggle makes no sense to me. And to be honest, I couldn't care less about it. But Spud got his revenge and literally got his payback on Swoggle for what Swoggle did to him a while ago, as well with the hammer. Same again with the hammer. And he even busted Swoggle open from the eye area as well. Swoggle was bleeding from the eye area, so I'm guessing Swoggle's going to be doing exactly the same thing in terms of promos with that Spud went through. The whole thing doesn't make any sense, but Spud got his revenge. That's the bottom line. Right, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. That was Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling highs and lows and results and whatnot. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll be back right after this with ICW, so stay tuned.
Hey guys, this is Mike Larkin.
And this is Stevie Nicks.
To check out the S&M Show podcast and more great audios, check us out on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/MCLarkin92. And we are now on the Swerve Talk Network, Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. UK time, along with the Max Wrestling Podcast, Offshoot Radio, Sunday Segway, and the Wrestling Matters Podcast. And also follow us on Twitter at SMShow1 and at SteveNicksSM. You won't be disappointed. Peace.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters Podcast. Now, slight change. I will talk about ICW in the next part, but there's something that's just come up I want to talk about, and I want to mention it on this show. I mentioned it in a way last week about YouTube considering that wrestling is deemed offensive. Now, this is a bunch of bullshit, as you know. This is just YouTube fucking up YouTube, quite frankly. But there's a lot of rumors flying around about WCPW that I got this past week, that people are not paying their talent. WCPW is not paying their talent. And a lot of stuff that's been going down, heavy stuff, from Joe Coffey and Shah Samuels' tweets that I've seen. I haven't seen them all. I've seen a few. So I don't know the full story or don't know the full thing about the whole thing. I just based on what I've got at the moment. Well, before Fight Back this past Saturday, WCPW did a show, put it up on YouTube for free on their WCPW YouTube channel, which was Fight Back. So they did that, they did the show. I haven't seen the show yet as I've recorded this. I will probably see the show at some point and you'll be able to see it. And I might review it for you, I don't know. That's a different matter though. But Adam Blumpier cut a promo, if you can call it that, which I'm going to play for you right now, about this situation, and he explains it in more detail. And then I'm going to play you this promo, and then after it, I'll give you my thoughts on the whole situation.
12 months ago, WCPW held its first tapings in a warehouse in Newcastle with a broken roof. Back then, the idea of us doing a wrestling promotion was a very silly idea. 12 months later, it is still a very silly idea. But we are still here. We're here in Manchester for WCPW Fight Back. This night was supposed to be the first night of the new series of WCPW Loaded.
Language. There are children watching this show, don't you know?
No. Okay. I understand and thank you. Owing to YouTube guidelines, it's not possible for us to give you a free weekly wrestling show on YouTube, and honestly, that kills us. But it's not about cussing out YouTube, okay? Because speaking hate, that's part of what got us into this mess, okay? So here's what happened. For the uninitiated, certain YouTubers preaching hate had adverts in front of their videos, which led advertisers to flee YouTube. To counter this, YouTube has drastically reduced the monetization of what it deems to be inappropriate content, and that includes wrestling. And that is why we're here. That's why we're doing this show for free on our YouTube channel rather than putting it behind our paywall, What Culture Extra, which we could do, and that's the only way we'd really make money off this show. We're running this show at a loss. I mean, you guys have bought your tickets, and that's paid for the wrestlers, because, just to address online, we always pay our wrestlers. But here's why I'm here. It's because this is a statement. That's what this show is. It's a statement to YouTube that wrestling does not deserve to be classified, tarred with the same brush as hate speech, because what hate speech does is it tears people apart. What wrestling does is it brings all of these people together here tonight. Wrestling is about creating a community. That's what every promotion does. Progress has its family, so does Rev Pro, so does Fight Club Pro, so does ICW. WWE has its universe. WWE is being affected by these changes. It's got to the point where I'm standing in this ring trying to make Vince McMahon money. But no, they all deserve to make that money, because YouTube, it allows us to reach our community of fans that we are building. That's what culture is. It's a community of fans who love wrestling, because wrestling, it's an art form. Wrestling is an art form. Am I wrong or am I right?
But the only thing I agree with this man on.
Thank you, one person. But we want to do this show for free. We're going to cut this segment out and we're going to put it on our YouTube channel along with the rest of the show for free, because we want you at home, we want you to share this video. We want you to, at YouTube, there is a petition going around by Heelbook. In order, that petition wants wrestling to be removed from inappropriate content. We officially endorse that petition. We're going to put it in the description underneath this video. Read it, sign it, share it. That's what this is about. It's about making sure that wrestling gets the respect that it deserves. Okay? And I am gonna go, okay? This is, because we're here for a wrestling show, aren't we? Yeah! But just one time on this show, on a platform which can be shared, please share this video everywhere you can. I want you all to stand, if you can, for me, please. Stand. And I just want you, for everyone listening at home, for everyone at YouTube who may see this, I want you to make some noise for how much you respect professional wrestling. These people are loyal fans, and they deserve the sport they love to be treated with the respect it deserves. Thank you. Thank you so much for this.
Right, there you have it, guys. Excuse me. There you have it. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, he addresses a lot of things there, Adam, including the rumour that apparently they do pay them superstars, their wrestlers, despite what's been said online, because there's a lot of rumours flying around that they don't pay their wrestlers. So yeah, I mean, you could see the point. I mean, this is what pisses me off about YouTube, you know, the changing of the policies and everything, because there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that promote hate speech and everything like that, and the advertisers have gone elsewhere and everything and that, and then it decided to change their policies and change their guidelines just so they can attract these advertisers back, you know, and people and stuff, if you will, like wrestling, is feeling the brunt of it. I mean, WWE have been affected by this. WCPW, I'm sure Progress have been affected by this. Fucking ICW as well. This whole thing is just ridiculous. And I've said this to many people when I spoke to somebody on Mixer as well, the site formerly known as Beam. You know, YouTube is falling apart at the seam. Why, I don't know. But if this keeps going, this bullshit keeps on going, it's going to fall apart even more. I mean, I had this vision the other day, this dream, this thought the other day. Can you imagine if there was a YouTube and nobody used it? You know, this whole YouTube era, you know, and everything like that. Can you imagine if there was a YouTube around and nobody used it? Not one person used it. Because they looked on the guidelines, they realised the guidelines was full of shit, they realised the guidelines were rubbish and all that shit. They never used it, you know? I just had that thought. Because if this bullshit keeps going and if this bullshit keeps up, that's where it's going to be. It's going to get to the point where nobody's going to be using YouTube. A lot of YouTubers make money from YouTube. A lot of YouTubers use their stuff and everything like that. Hell, even wrestling communities, you know, but wrestling is about a community, like Adam correctly said. It's about building a community. You know, WWE hopefully or want to use YouTube to get to their audience, which is their universe. Same with WCPW. Same with ICW as well. A little fan base here, you know, or maybe add to the fan base that they've already got. Same with Progress as well. But they can't do that because idiots. And to be honest with you, and if I'm being honest with you, I believe this whole change started with a certain Swedish YouTuber called PewDiePie, to be honest with you. All the racist angle and everything like that, and people, you know, the network dropping him and stuff like that. I believe it started with that, to be honest. I truly believe that. I might be wrong, don't hold me to that, but I believe that's where this whole thing started. And like Adam correctly said in that promo there, that little speech, there is a petition online, okay? There is a petition online. It's on change.org. It's titled YouTube remove wrestling from offensive content list. So yeah, there is a petition online. I will promote the hell out of this as best I can on my Twitter at Tony_Walker. Also, I'll add it to the WM Podcast Twitter page as well. I'll put this on the Facebook.com/WM Podcast page, and I'll promote it in schedules as well, as best I can. Do the best you can, guys, and fight back, because WCPW can't give us Loaded because of this. You know, the Fight Back pay-per-view, or the Fight Back show, it's not easy to say, was meant to be the start of a new series of Loaded, but they've had to cancel that now. Because of this. So I can tell you this right now, the petition has got 29,000 as I've done this. The aim is the reach goal at this point, it might go up a bit more. It's presented by Heelbook as well, or created by Heelbook. 35,000 is the goal. It's got 29,055 supporters and people that have signed to this as well. Let me just refresh this and see if there's anything. Oh, it's gone up and everything like that. It's gone up. It's gone up. It's now 29,793 supporters. Let me just again double check it. Okay, it's gone up now. I'm going to add myself to this as well. And like I say, I will promote this as best I can on my Facebook page, the WM Podcast page as well. I'll also add this into some groups as well, get them to sign this as well. And also add this as best I can, like on Twitter as well, on my Tony_Walker Twitter page and my WM Podcast as well. So I will do the best I can with this. But sign up, guys. Get wrestling off the offensive content list from YouTube and allow wrestling to be a community on YouTube. That's why I'm doing this as well with the podcasting. I mean, I don't cater to ignorant sheep, mocked morons who are nothing but fanboys or fan bitches who don't see the picture or don't see reality. I care about wrestling. Keyword, wrestling. Do I like entertainment stuff? Yeah, there's a few things that made me chuckle. There's a few things that made me go, oh, for fuck's sake. That kind of stuff. But wrestling, at the end of the day, is a community. That's why I'm doing this. Because I want a community, okay? I want the best community that I can get. Because I cater to wrestling fans that give a shit like me, that are fans like me, that give a shit about the business. That are sick of people disrespecting the business and pissing on it, basically. And YouTube are basically doing that. I mean, I find it ironic that they deem wrestling as offensive content, yet they've got UFC and stuff like that on there as well. And I don't know if UFC have ever streamed a pay-per-view on there or whatever, but yeah. Wrestling is not an offensive content. Depending on what you're seeing, of course, and what you're watching, but wrestling is not offensive, you know. Depending on what direction you go, I mean, ICW, 18 to over. That's how wrestling should be, to be honest with you. You know, PG era as well. It's family-oriented, but it's about going to a wrestling show and enjoying it. Hell, I've even done wrestling as well. Yeah, you can get your ass kicked in a ring depending on what you're doing and depending on how you approach it, but there's safe parts to it as well. Because there's probably a lot of stuff that you do in wrestling that you'd probably get done for if you weren't in wrestling as well. But there's an art form to it. You know, for example, taking bumps. Many people think, oh, they just drive on they take the back bumps and everything and they whack their head on the thing and all that stuff. Oh, trust me, there's an art form to that, of how to take a bump properly. Wrestling is not offensive. So sign this petition, guys. I'm going to sign it. You guys sign it as well. I'll promote it as best I can on, like I say, on Twitter and Facebook and all that other stuff as well. So just get it signed and give wrestling back the respect that it deserves. Because you've got morons like YouTube that are disrespecting it. And like I say, guys, I've been a wrestling fan all my life. People have disrespected me about wrestling as well. You know, oh, why are you a wrestling fan now? You get out of it. No, I'm a wrestling fan. I was born a wrestling fan, and goddamn it, I would die one. So, you know, because it's like the podcast says, wrestling matters. It matters to me, okay? What I say on this show, you could agree with what I say on this show, you can disagree with what I say on this show, but at the end of the day, I am a passionate wrestling fan, and I'm fucking proud of it, okay? I am damn proud of it. Wrestling at times for me can be therapy. You know, you have a headache or anything like that, you go back, you watch wrestling, it just relaxes you. It relaxes me. I don't know how it goes with you guys, but it does with me anyway. But yeah, guys, I'll leave the link in the description on YouTube. If you're seeing this on YouTube and everything like that, links will be in the description on this as well. And like I say, I'm going to go and sign this petition anyway. Let's get wrestling and give wrestling back the respect it deserves. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'll be back right after this quick timeout with ICW. So, stay tuned. Are you sick of professional wrestling? Do you want to speak your mind about professional wrestling? Well, if you like a wrestling podcast, why not tune in to the wrestling podcast where wrestling matters? The Wrestling Matters Podcast. Each and every week, I talk about the best in professional wrestling from WWE, TNA, ICW, Progress Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and the list goes on and on. Also, on the other occasions, I bring guests in as well to shoot the breeze about the one thing that I love, that we all love, professional wrestling. So join me each and every week for the Wrestling Matters Podcast on YouTube, AJW Wrestling Matters, the Wrestling Matters YouTube channel, SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast, and any other podcasts that matters. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Matters Podcast. This is part 6. Hope you guys enjoyed part 5 there. That was a little thing that I wanted to bring up. I wasn't going to do that until I seen it and I wanted to talk about it and get it out of the way and everything. So hope you guys enjoyed that as well. Like I said, go and check it out. Go and sign the petition and everything. And let's work as wrestling fans to get this matter resolved. Because it's not just WCPW, like I said, getting issued with it. It's about this company as well. It's probably getting the same as well. That is ICW. Because you heard the song, guys. It's time for ICW, indeed. ICW Fight Club from London this week. And it kicked off with BT Gunn, one-on-one with Davey Blaze. Highlights of the match was Blaze chopping the ring post. That sucked. I don't mind telling you. If you think chopping somebody's chest hurts, or receiving a chop hurts, chop a ring post. And then tell me that doesn't hurt. Jesus Christ. But it was a good match. Good way to kick off the show. Back and forth stuff. Wrestling. Good wrestling match. And Davey's mistake cost him because he went for a moonsault and missed, and then BT super kicks him and then hits Gunshot, which is a second rope or springboard cutter, if you will, and BT Gunn manages to get the win, and a big win at that. Grado and Stevie Boy went one-on-one as well. Grado and Stevie Boy ended up bashing the fans. That wasn't until Grado turned around and says he would rather face Stevie Boy because Curly Ray, has bigger balls than him. But then Stevie turned around and went, well, you have bigger tits than her. And then the match eventually kicked off, and it was great stuff, man. And yes, Curly Ray got involved and all that, and then Stevie Boy was about to go for his finisher. It was a great match, good little match between the two. And then Stevie Boy was about to go for his finisher, which was a version of the Canadian Destroyer, which was the Glasgow Destroyer, and he got interrupted by Redfrew, who came out and sent a message not only to Stevie Boy but on behalf of Legion and one Mikey Whiplash. Grado hits the stroke and then wins the match. Roy Johnson's Waste Man Challenge, which I believe Roy Johnson, the last time I saw this guy, if I remember correctly, this guy was in Progress Wrestling. He came out and had a verbal rap battle, I suppose you could say, with Ravy Davey, which then turned into a brawl. Instant Reese comes out and looks to show his dominance in ICW again, but Mark Coffey came out and challenged him to a match, which Reese manages to end up winning. It was a hard-fought match and a proper test this time for Instant Reese, but it didn't quite work out for Mark Coffey, unfortunately. And Jackie helped Mark to the back with injury and everything, and then Jackie goes and chases the tag team champions in Instant Reese and gets a beatdown, which leads to the match upcoming at Shook's House Party in July. And the main event, which was Wolfgang versus Jack Jester in a Falls Count Anywhere match, so Wolfgang get beat with a tombstone by Jack Jester. They did fight. They fight outside the ring. They fight outside the O2 Arena as well. All you see when they saw them fighting outside the O2 Arena was seeing this big huge bus coming down the road and everything. And I swear to God, this guy had to think, he's driving the bus and everything, he had to think, what the fuck? There was a real fight going on or something off a school playground or something going on. But they did fight. They managed to get back in. It was a Falls Count Anywhere match. Pinfalls took place on the outside as well, even outside the O2 Arena, but Jack manages to get back in the ring and hits a tombstone to get the victory, which was a hard-fought win, but a win nonetheless for one Jack Jester, who is now the number one contender for the ICW World Heavyweight Championship. And at Shook's House Party, I believe it'll be the second night, since Joe Coffey's also scheduled to be in a tag match with Grado against the Pinky Party. So it'll be night 2, I'm guessing. He will challenge Joe Coffey for the World's Heavyweight title as well. But once again, great show from ICW, as always. Check them out, ICW On Demand or insanewrestling.co.uk, I believe that is, as well. Also check them out on Facebook and Twitter. But with that being said, guys, that is the end of ICW's highs and lows. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll be back in the final part with outro, promos, and all that good stuff as well, and what's to come. Also, 10 fascinating facts about King of the Ring 1993. Information that you don't know, but I do, thanks to watching it this week on What Culture's Wrestling channel. So stay tuned. I'll have it right after this in the final part of the Wrestling Matters podcast. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Twitter at WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back to the final part of the Wrestling Matters podcast, ladies and gentlemen. There will be an outro, promotions in this very, very soon. But I've got two things I want to do. Right? I'm going to do a top 10 of King of the Ring fascinating facts, but I'll do that in a second. But there's something that's come up, ladies and gentlemen, which quite frankly, I'm disgusted about. You need to sign that petition and do it quick, please. I'll leave the links as best I can in the description below on YouTube and that. Check out WCPW YouTube channel for more information on this as well. But it seems that WCPW Fight Back, that was aired, it originally took place Friday and it aired Saturday night on the YouTube channel, got claimed copyright claimed by YouTube. Now this is a shoot, because I've actually seen the actual what culture thing, and I've actually got the community guideline status. Video strike 1. WCPW fight back. Full show. Reason? Violation of the YouTube's policy, in fact, on spam and practices. Whatever the fuck that means, I don't know. But I get the spam and everything in the YouTube thing. Either YouTube are playing complete dicks, or somebody's basically taking the piss. It was acknowledged on June 3rd. 2017, and it expires on 1st of September. Now, it seems YouTube are WCPW in a lot of trouble. I'll read what they've said on their website, on the Instagram as well, underneath. Not only is wrestling not monetized on YouTube, apparently it's not welcome at all. We have now been issued with a strike. Yeah, so I literally don't know what the hell is going on, to be honest with you. Fully going on, without be honest. But yeah, this whole thing's really now getting out of control, and YouTube's now getting out of control with this. So there's now a hashtag going around, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag stand up for wrestling. You heard it here. Stand up for wrestling. It'll be in the title as well. Get that tweeted worldwide. Get that sorted worldwide. And basically, fuck you, YouTube, quite frankly. Anyway, on to the main piece of this jigsaw, ladies and gentlemen, which is 10 fascinating facts of King of the Ring. Number 10, this fascinating fact was in the heartland of America. Apparently it was Dayton, Ohio, but Vince McMahon, being the guy that he is, apparently did not rate Dayton, Ohio. He rated a B-town, and apparently there was something about it, not being suitable to host a pay-per-view or anything like that. So he basically just went round and went, fuck you, and got the guys, which were Savage, Heenan and Jim Ross, mainly Jim Ross, to say it was in the heartland of America and not mention the actual name, kind of thing, which was just piss poor, to be honest with you. Number 9 was the USWA Championship was defending in a dark match, which was the pre-show. This was well before pre-shows even existed. Now, the USWA is a promotion that was partnered with WWE at the time, that had Jeff Jarrett, and it was run by Jeff Jarrett's father, and one certain Mr. Jerry the King Lawler as well. And they were doing deals with each other in partnerships, and even WWE superstars, or WWF superstars as were known back then, were taking part in it as well. I remember this very well because there's some footage of this on YouTube. Jerry Lawler, who was the champion, who was the USWA champion, a couple of months prior to this, had to drop the title and lost the championship, which was the USWA title, to one Papa Shango. And before the pay-per-view, Papa Shango was defending the championship against one Owen Hart. 2 weeks later, Papa lost the title. Number 8 was the audio sucked. Now, the commentators apparently got some stick for this because their commentary, these three worked, which was Savage, Ross, and Bobby Heenan. These three worked as great commentators at WrestleMania 9, but they didn't get such a good review at the King of the Ring because, well, let's face it, the audio sucked, basically, and there was points in the match. There was points of it that weren't communicating very well. They couldn't hear each other. They were talking over each other as well. The audio basically just sucked. That's why they weren't as good as many people thought they would be. And that's why WrestleMania 9 was their best work. Next, WrestleMania 9 former champion Bret Hart, the King of the Ring, first King of the Ring on pay-per-view winner, wrestled hurt. He went 1 hour, 19 minutes and 53 seconds, 600 miles. Yeah, he basically wrestled with a hurt ankle. And he wrestled the whole matches and everything. And he even had a great match with Mr. Perfect, which I'll get to in a second. He had a match with Bam Bam. He basically wrestled the matches hurt and won the King of the Ring because he'd done his ankle in as well. That's how sick Bret Hart is and could be. Next is I Recognize That Guy, which is Yokozuna and Hulk Hogan with that clusterfuck ending. Now, we all remember this, unfortunately, which saw Hogan lose the WWF Championship to Yokozuna thanks to a camera exploding. The cameraman came on the apron and the camera exploded right in Hogan's face, which cost him the title. Go back and watch the footage, you'll see for yourself. But the guy who played that, was Harvey Whippleman. It has been revealed, I don't think anybody noticed this, but Harvey Whippleman was the guy responsible for that. Yeah. Next, Hulkamania stuck around. Now, Hogan was banished from TV, WWE TV at the time and everything. Everybody thought that was it, he'd gone to film Mr. Natty, Thunder in Paradise and everything else, and then went to WCW a year later. Now, his official last match for the company was in August of that year. I believe it was August 6th, because he stuck around and worked the matches, live event matches, with Yokozuna as well. But he didn't officially leave WWE until August 6th of that year. I believe it was somewhere. It was August nonetheless. Anyway, he left WWE, and then 1 year later he went to WCW. Now the next one is Hart put Hogan in a blast raid something. This was because Hogan, who denies this, won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 9, and apparently there was a promise going around that he dropped the title to Bret, but Hogan then eventually dropped the title to Yokozuna. Hogan went backstage, Bret was waiting for him, and apparently there was a tirade by Bret saying he was a piece of shit, he went back on the promise, all that stuff. Now, I've actually seen the videos of this, and Hogan denies it, quite frankly, so you don't know who to believe at the time. But there was some animosity between Hogan and Bret after this as well. Whether that patched things up, I don't know. Next is IRS Past Life. Now, this one was IRS's past life, ladies and gentlemen, because during the match that he had on the show, IRS real name Mike Rotunda, during the match he had on the show, JR revealed that he was a former 4-time WWE Tag Team Champion because he had 2 reigns with DiBiase and he had 2 reigns with Barry Windham back in the early days. Yeah, but they weren't. But the Barry Windham Tag Team run that he had with Rotunda, that wasn't as IRS. So, in a way, they considered it kayfabe. Well, they considered it kayfabe, and JR apparently broke kayfabe that night. Yeah. Next is Bret is the only 2-time winner. Bret, 2-time winner, because apparently before this televised match, or the televised version of this, apparently Bret won it in 1991. Now, before it was televised, the King of the Ring, there was a lot of winners: Harley Race, Tito Santana, Macho King Randy Savage, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the list goes on and on. Bret won this in 1991, non-televised, and he was the first guy to win it televised as well. So, yeah, that's how Bret Hart is now the 2-time winner of the King of the Ring tournament. And next, Bret got hurt by Jerry Lawler. Now, this was all leading up to Hogan and everything, and since Hogan was scratched, the Hogan angle, or the supposed old Hogan angle, was scratched, it ended up falling back with Bret to Jerry Lawler. Now, Jerry Lawler came in, as we all know, during the coronation and attacked Bret, hitting him with the steel scepter, crown and everything. He even picked up the chair, Lawler. There was a crown seat. He even picked it up and threw it at Bret, basically. And apparently that injured Bret. So Bret definitely got hurt during that whole attack, basically. And it almost cost him, quite frankly. So there you go. That was 10 fascinating facts of the King of the Ring 1993. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. But the following episode 166 of the podcast, is on the Swerve Talk Network. Check them out each and every week. You know the score by now, guys. Check them out. King of the Ring. Sunday Segway, Max Wrestling, you know the score. List goes on and on. Check them out each and every week. Facebook.com/WM Podcast, at WM Podcast on Twitter. Look us up on SoundCloud. Look us up on Radio Big World. Look them up on SoundCloud too. AJW Wrestling Matters, the Wrestling Matters channel on YouTube as well. And also check out everybody else, including Wrestle Island as well. Facebook.com/Back to the Island. Facebook.com/Wrestle Island. Facebook.com/TNT Wrestling as well. Extreme Wrestling, in fact. Look them up on Facebook. Also, shout out to RFPW and everybody else. You guys have been awesome. This has been episode 166 of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Tune in next week for a guest. There will be a guest coming on the show, all being well. So stay tuned for that. And until then, guys, Wrestling Matters. Stand up for wrestling. Fuck you, YouTube. And I'll see you next time. Peace.